Hello everyone, it's Dwayne and welcome back to the channel and another tone recreation video with the Quad Cortex. So I've got my trusty Charvel DK24 Pro mod here, and today we're going to be replicating the tone in one of the new Green Day tracks, Bobby Sox. So if you haven't listened to this album yet, go give it a listen. It's a return the form for Green Day. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be trying to replicate that tone in the song. So I've got the song open in the background here, and I've got Cortex Control open as well. When I first heard this, like the opening clean little guitar riff, kind of sounds like a Beast of Burden by the Rolling Stones, actually. It's like... I'm going to learn how to play this as we do this video. Really awesome, kind of bright sounding tone. It's got that 90s punk vibe about it, punk rock vibe. That's what we're going to do. We're going to use a Marshall because, I mean, this sound is Marshall, right? I think what we're going to do is we're going to use the TM45. They actually do use this in the band. They've used a few different Marshalls over the years. This one, I think, would lend itself really well for the clean tone, the normal thing, and we may add in like a patch or something to get the more driven sound. So a little bit of gain. It's got a bit of mid in there as well. Definitely want some treble because it's got a bit of brightness. We'll leave the presence at 5. And we'll hear... Actually, we've got to put a cab in there first. Otherwise, it's not going to sound good. So we'll add in a cab in there. Probably a 212, maybe a Vox style cabinet. C30. And I think if we play this is actually going to sound really good right off the bat. So a little too gain. Probably like more like a 2.8 or something. And maybe I'll switch my pickup. Do you wanna be my girlfriend? I feel like that's kind of, maybe there's still a little too much gain. Maybe we'll put that down to 2. We're gonna have to bump up the volume to compensate. And maybe now we can put it back on the bridge. Feels like it needs a little bit more brightness in there. Bass at 5. Want a little bit of mids. We want treble in there. And then I think we want to bump that up like 4. Let's hear how the bright sounds. Be my girlfriend. I'll take you to a movie that we've already seen. Or sit at home and watch reruns. There's no... Okay, I'm happy with the clean sound that we've got now. Bobby Sox. This will probably do, you know, this will do more than Green Day. This will probably do the whole new album. Tone's pretty much the same. Okay, that's our clean tone. It's a pretty clean, simple sounding tone. Now we're going to have our high gain tone. Okay, so for our gained tone, I think we might use the patch to kind of give it that extra drive in there. So we're going to assign this to a scene and we're going to turn off our bright. I think we're going to keep this cabinet because it sounds really good. And for this tone, what we're going to do is we're going to go 6 for a moderate amount of drive, consistency with the gain 1. Now for the bass, we're going to add just slight bit in there. We don't want to mud it up. We want it to cut through, so we're going to give it some mids. We're going to give it some treble presence. We will actually bump that up a little bit to enhance the overall presence of it. No, okay. So obviously I don't use these amps a whole lot. I'm actually going to, you know what? I'm going to do a complete U-turn here. I liked our clean tone, but I'm not happy with how that sounded. So I'm actually going to use a JCM 900. Hey, you know what? Straight off the bat, that actually sounds really good. Maybe the JCM was the way to go. We wanted some mids on there, didn't we? Bumped up the treble to 7, and I think we left the presence alone on the clean. Oh, that is so mid-sounding. Oh, I was on the wrong pickups.
can hear how ours sounds too bright compared to theirs. I think there's a little bit of bass in the original, actually. Might dial up the bass a little bit. Still too bassy. Maybe bumping up that mid was a mistake. And what happens if we put that gain down to 3? Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. Maybe I'll put a little bit more bass in there. It sounds a little bit more like...
You wanna be my girlfriend? I'll take you to a movie that we've already seen. Or sit
Okay, I think that's pretty close to what we had before. Okay, we're gonna keep that there, and what we're going to do is we're going to assign this to a scene. We're going to be using that cabinet as well. So yeah, scene B is our gain, so we're going to turn the clean channel off, and then we're going to go to lead channel. It's going to be also on a scene, and we're going to turn that off. All right, so what we've got here now is we want a slightly gain sound in there, but we don't want to go like too crazy. We want to add maybe we'll take away some mids, but generally with these Marshalls, you kind of add some mids in there to kind of give it a little boost. They actually respond quite well. Maybe a little too much treble. And maybe the master on 5 and gain on 6. Might put more gain on there, actually. Might be a mistake that... Yeah, I don't think we need that much gain. I think 4 might be the sweet spot. I think this song could also benefit from like a tube screamer or something, because it definitely has more rich distortion that we don't seem to be getting from this amp or speaker cab. We're going to keep that level at 5. See how this sounds. I like that. That sounds good. Okay, so we're going to send that to scene because we don't want that to mess with our clean. Let's just go back to our clean real quick and just make sure that we didn't mess with anything. That sounds alright. Now we're going to go to our gain scene. Might mess with my pickups a little bit. No, I definitely want the bridge. So what we've got here is we've got a Marshall. We ended up using the JCM 900 just because I think it definitely added a little bit more richness to it. Might need a little bit more distortion now. Get those mids back for a second. This is punk, so we're going to take the master and the gain up a little bit. You know what? That works. But one thing that's bothering me is we need a noise gate. We are clipping big time now though. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the master down to 6 maybe. Let's compare that to the song now. I think that's it. I think we've worked it out. And actually look what we have here is we ended up dialing up the gain on the Marshall. Because it's a Marshall, you want to crank it, right? And it gives you that kind of... Because you got to remember with this song as well is we are hearing this song in a mix. It's had stuff done to it in the studio. It's multiple tracks. I bet if you would listen to one guitar track from this recording, it wouldn't sound like what you think it does. And that's the trap that's easy to fall into, I think, with clone tones, is that you're trying to replicate the album tone, so it doesn't have that same wideness. One thing we will do is, a little trick that I do is add like a room reverb or something. Really subtle room reverb that kind of widens it. It gives it that kind of boost. And we're going to put the mix down because I think it's too much. Here it's very subtle, but it is widening it. And if we put that on the clean, the one thing about this clean sound is it's very quiet. So I think we need to bump this up. We end up putting on 6 on the other one. Yeah, so we want to bring up the overall output, I think. Let's play along with the song. I know it's going to get flagged for copyright anyway, so hopefully it doesn't get blocked.
Do you wanna be my girlfriend? I'll take you to a movie that we've already seen. We'll be getting married right there on the scene. Do you wanna be my best friend? You can drive me crazy all over again.
That was pretty cool. So I think we got close to it. Now, once again, studio recording. So, you know, it's not necessarily like you can get spot onto it, but you can get close enough that I think it sounds like it actually, you know, fits in with the song, and that's all that matters. Playing along with it, getting that sound. So we've got 2 tones here. We got a clean. And then we have a heavy tone on there, on scene B. And it has such a really cool, like... Who knows what he was using in the studio for this, but really subtle settings. We did dial up the gain and to kind of get it to saturate a little bit. I didn't want to take it up to 10 because it would get too messy, basically. We did add some of the low end in there on the bass. We're dialing that up. Mids, we ended up leaving at 5. And for treble, we only put that up to 6, as well as presence and master at 6 as well. We also put an overdrive pedal in there that kind of drives the amp a little bit. That probably should be 6. I try and make in these types of tones, the tube screamer volume the same as the amp. Yeah, that's good. Even works for blues as well. It's just a great all-round Marshall tone, I think. So I've saved that. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I knew when I heard the song that it wasn't going to be a complicated song. I heard it and I'm like, This reminds me of like 90s Weezer, early Green Day, tons of other bands that have that similar combination. It's largely a Marshall amp in there. And you'll see that we did try and use the JTM, but I think the 900, we got a clean and lead in there. That just worked for the use cases, I think, for the sound. But you could achieve this with a Plexi as well, and you probably could have achieved it with the JTM 45, but I found this was just the easier path. And yeah, that's it. Let me know in the comments what you thought. If it sounded like I got close, because headphones and obviously what you're listening through, it sounds completely different. So, you know, for all I know, you're watching this and you're like, that sounds terrible. Well, it doesn't sound anywhere near it. Tone also comes from the fingers as well, and what they do in the studios. You don't always get spot on, but if you were to play this live, or you wanted just a general rocky, you know, punk rock sort of tone with a clean preset in there as well, clean scene, this would be perfect for that. You could use it for anything. So yeah, if you have any requests as well, let me know in the comments, because I do take requests. If there's a song that you want me to try and recreate the tone for, let me know down below. And I haven't turned down a request yet, so I'd say your chance is going to be pretty good. Unless, of course, you give me something that's so challenging that I just give up and don't end up making the video. So, or hopefully that never happens. I haven't been challenged to that degree yet, but it's early days with all this stuff. So, if you made it to the end of this video, once again, I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video. See you later.